Hello, this is Father Arbil. Today I'm going to share the treasures of my beautiful city Cagayan de Oro. I was born in Manolo for Bukidnon, but I grew up in Baluarte, Tagoloan Misamis Oriental, and my city was always been Cagayan de Oro City, also known as the City of Golden Friendship. My city is a busy and bustling first-class city. It is now a regional center and business hub of the region. People from as far as Lanao, Camiguin, Agusan and Bukidnon come to shop, dine, and enjoy the many beautiful and cool spots of the area. I was high school when I did live in Cagayan for 4 years, and at first it's hard to be away from my family, but after a while you get used to the city life. Cagayan is becoming a popular tourism destination. There are many beautiful places to explore. Mountain resorts, white beaches, river trekking, white river rafting, beautiful green parks, exotic fruits, and delicious food. Many water recreations and city nightlife is pretty much alive. Cagayan de Oro is now considered a highly urbanized city in the region of northern Mindanao, Philippines. It is the capital of the province of Misamis Oriental, where it is geographically situated but governed administratively independent from the provincial government. With a population of almost 1 million people and considered one of the most populous city of Mindanao. Cagayan de Oro is a fast-growing metropolitan Cagayan de Oro area, which includes the city of El Salvador, the towns of Opol, Alobi Head, Lagandingan, at the western side, and the towns of Tagoloan, Villanueva, Hasaan, Claveria at the eastern side. Cagayan de Oro area was continuously inhabited by natives of the area. The oldest human remains discovered was from the Halaga caves, once used as a burial place by the natives. A skull cap sent to the Scripps Institution of Oceanography in 1977 was dated to be from between 350 and 377 AD. The caves in the area was not protected and so was badly damaged by collectors and amateur treasure hunters. The Halaga Cave open site was extensively damaged in 2001 to give way to a bridge project by the local administration. It was the source of controversy, but what else we can do? Many are not educated on the importance of the ancient native site. In other countries, when a discovery is made, especially ancient settlements, whatever project it is, the government will halt it, until excavation and proper documentation are done and preserved. For the sake of development and money talks, it was declared a camp-like area and not a settlement, and thus not worthy of heritage protection. It was a sad history of our culture. Back to 17th century, 2 Spanish Augustinian Recollect missionaries reached the place and the Himalayan settlement and described it as being inhabited by a mixed natives descended from Highlander Bukidnon Lomad, and seafaring Visayans, Dumagat. Catholic priest Fray Agustin de San Pedro then persuaded the leader of the tribe to transfer their settlement down to the Cagayan River, to the present-day Gaston Park, near the now San Agustin Cathedral. In the 19th century, the Spanish government made Cagayan the center of governance for the provinces of Misamis Oriental, Misamis Occidental, Bukidnon, and Lanao del Norte. On January 10, 1899, Cagayan de Misamis joined the government of Emilio Aguinaldo and the new Philippine flag raised on the Mindanao Island. This was the end of the Spanish rule in the Philippines, but then the Americans came. On March 31, 1900, the Americans occupied the town of Cagayan de Misamis, and on April 7, 1900, a battle erupted in the town center led by General Nicolas Capistrano and Filipino resistance fighters. The Americans won the war, and about 40 years later, gave the Philippines its independence on July 4, 1946, under the guidance of the United States. Consequently, from a purely farming fishing area, Cagayan de Oro emerged into a booming commerce and trade center and the trade and transportation hub of the region. Then the Japanese era came during World War II. The American and Philippine forces fought heroically against invading Japanese forces. It took many lives, and at the beginning they were unable to resist the overwhelming and the better supplied Japanese forces. The Allied forces retreated to more defensive positions outside the city of Cagayan. The Japanese forces, according to my parents' and grandparents' stories, were unforgiving soldiers. The history tells that they abused a lot of Filipinos, and very cruel to those they captured. They burned most of the city and took up residence at Ateneo de Cagayan University, now Xavier University. The Japanese soldiers were never able to successfully move outside the city due to the constant attacks from the Philippine resistant movement. And finally, the combined American and Free Philippine forces arrived in Cagayan de Oro in 1945, 3 years after the Japanese occupation. During the liberation, the 200 Japanese soldiers escaped and withdrew into the mountainous jungle, and many did not survive, many died, and only 38 of them were captured alive. On June 15, 1950, then President Elpidio Quirino signed Republic Act No. 521, which granted the status of a chartered city to the municipality of Cagayan de Misamis. We also have dark days during the martial law era. My city was not spared from military bombings and the usage of brutal mechanisms against dissenters of the regime. By the time martial law ended, more than 1,000 people from the city had been tortured, raped, electrocuted and/or salvaged. I even have some relatives who were also imprisoned during those dark days of our history. Roman Catholicism is our city's dominant religion, represented by almost 70% of the population. The Basilica of the Black Nazarene in Quiapo Church decided to move the replica statue of the Black Nazarene to Jesus Nazareno Parish Church in Cagayan de Oro, along Claro M. Recto Avenue, so that the Black Nazarene devotees from Mindanao do not have to travel to Quiapo in Manila for their annual pilgrimage. The annual religious tradition of the Feast of the Black Nazarene in Cagayan de Oro City is held every January 9th by having a procession called Traslation, in which hundreds of thousands of devotees participate. Every year the city celebrates the Higalaki Festival. It is a week-long celebration in honor of Cagayan de Oro's patron saint, Saint Augustine, held every August. Patron Saint Fiesta is every August 28th. Highlights of the Higalaki Festival are the Kahaymunan Trade Fair, which features the native products of the city and province, particularly agricultural, Miss Cagayan de Oro, folkloric street dancing competition, featuring colorful attires and cultural dances of the Higaanan tribes, Higala's parade of Cagayan de Oro icons and floats, Halid Salam Bagahan, PE rhythmic dance competition, Kalo Festival, and Kumbira, a culinary show and exhibit that started in 1996 by Cagayanans hoteliers and restaurants. It has since evolved over the years and now hosts a culinary competition among students and professionals from all over Mindanao.